Let us know when you're ready to go.
I'm outnumbered here, 3-1, 55 cameras. You know. I feel like in a lawsuit against Haas. Oh, did I say that?
Hello and welcome back to The Fast and the Curious with me, Betty Glover, our resident F1 knowledge hot pot, Christian Hugill.
Oh, knowledge hot pot. I really like that.
I like knowledge hot pot.
Came up with that on the spot,
I like
actually.
that. That's really good, that.
I'm knowledge hot pot.
Knowledge hot pot.
And our team principal, Greg James.
Hi
Now,
there.
everyone knows we haven't really got a lot of racing on at the moment. We're going to get onto that in a second because, blimey, this is a long old break, isn't it?
Does the sport still exist?
I don't know.
The last race was in 2004.
Yeah, it feels like it was.
It's a lazy sport,
Are
isn't
we
it?
just... Do we still have a sport to do a
I
podcast
think
about?
it's still on. I hope so. I tell you, I'm going to struggle to pay the rent without it.
Anyway, whilst there's been no racing, you will know if you've been watching us on YouTube, listening to us on wherever you get your podcasts, that we've been getting some pretty good names in the studio. And today, I think we've got our best name yet. Welcome to The Fast and the Curious, Guenther Steiner.
I feel like I want to clap.
I feel like I want to clap as well.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
It felt right. It did feel right just then to clap.
It really did.
Thank you very much. And thanks for having me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm speechless now when you clap, you know. And they forgot to tell you I've got nice socks, you know. So.
Thank you. My socks have got a little bit of Guenther, because I'm about to go to Austin. I've packed most of my good socks. So these are emergency socks, and they've got both birds and bananas on them.
So when are you going to Austin?
On Tuesday. But
And you're back already now?
yeah, because I'm busy for the few days after, and I'm
It's too organised.
also going
isn't
away
it?
at the weekend.
Wow.
So it's a busy time, Guenther. But enough of my
It's
logistics.
better to be organised than not organised.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's true.
This is it.
So have you backed for Abu Dhabi already?
No, I've not.
Okay.
I'll do that when I come back from Austin.
You should.
Yeah.
I feel like you're not a packer. You're not as organised as Christian.
I'm not. I mean, I'm going back to North Carolina on Monday. On Tuesday, I go to Orlando. Then I come back to North Carolina. And on Thursday morning, I go to Austin. And I haven't even packed for going back to North Carolina.
Yeah, see, that would stress me out. I need to do it in advance.
I don't want you wasting your time with us. Go and get back in.
I have to work.
How is life at the moment, though? Because, look, when people think of Formula One, especially if they've got into the sport through Drive to Survive, your name comes up first, doesn't it? You're such a big name in the sport, right? But, you know, you've had nearly a year out of it now, so what are you doing? Other than writing a book.
What on earth are you doing?
What on earth are you
what on earth
doing
are
with
you
your life?
I'm very busy. Unexpectedly, I'm very busy for an unemployed guy, as you said. You know. I'm keeping busy. I get by somehow, you know. And you offered up that I can come and sleep here if I.
Yes.
Anytime.
If you ever
Anytime.
get
Comfortable
stuck.
sofa.
I get stuck. So it's a good studio, good sofa. No, seriously, I do some TV work. I do corporate events. Book is out tomorrow. You know, the 10th of October. Here it is. You got the privilege of having the day early.
It'll be out by the time this goes out. The
Okay,
book's
so,
out now, everyone. The book's out now.
The book's out now. Sorry, I didn't know that.
No, that's okay.
Book's out now. And what else I'm doing? A lot of traveling. A lot of packing. You know.
Nice.
Get it
Do you
done in
get to
advance.
spend more time with your family now? And
That was the plan. It didn't work out properly, they told me, you know, because when it all happened in January, it was like, yeah, I take it a little bit easy now for a while. And the day it was announced, the next day, people started to call me, can you come and do this? And I was like, guys, just give me a few weeks. I mean, I need to find out what I actually want to do and what I can do. And I was planning to do a lot less this year, you know, 10 years running around. It's not a stressful year, just on the road all the time. And sometimes it's good to sit back and look a little bit what you want to do next and think about it. I actually never got the time to think about it. And I started running already, you know, they called me up. Can you come to Bahrain to do TV for the German TV? And by the way, Bahrain is in 2 weeks when they gave me the contract. So then I went to Australia. Then I just went on and on. But it's very interesting. I mean, I'm very happy. I'm very, very, you know, it's cool to do different things. And then in summer, I took it a little bit easier. You know, I was a little bit less traveling. I stayed in my place in northern Italy. I always spent the summer where I come from in Italy. So a little bit less there. But now I'm very busy again with the new book and doing this book tour in England, in the UK here, going to the next races. So, very busy until December.
You've been in motorsport for a long time.
Too long.
For too long, you might say. We don't think so. And you know how brutal the game can be, how the industry can be. But how did you manage to process leaving Haas? And did you find that difficult, or did you find it like you actually haven't had time to think about it much?
No, I didn't find it difficult because sometimes you're in a position where you have your mind is made up. You just don't know it. So when it all happened for me, it was like, okay, that's actually good, and now I can do what I want to do. I can again decide for myself. I don't have to ask anybody, and there was no the days where I didn't lose any sleep over it. I went to bed that night and woke up the next morning very happy. Not regret or nothing. It's just like, okay, this was actually, and I realized that one maybe a month or two later that it was actually I should have done it earlier. I should have actively done it because I wasn't happy there anymore. I wasn't happy with what was going on. Where is this going? It's like basically where is it or where is it not going? That was more the question. It's like you try to do something and you cannot do it. There is always a no and discontent. So I think for me it was like I'm free now.
You're known for being very, very funny. Okay. When did you realise you were allowed to be completely yourself in this sport? Because we always talk about how funny sport is, particularly Formula One. You do find the light side of it, but you're pretty much a lone wolf with all this sort of thing because it's like you're the funny one. But that can't be. There's other funny people and it's not confident enough to do it. When did you realise you're allowed to?
I don't think there's a moment you drift into that one.
Yeah.
You just be yourself. I mean, and that's what I am. I mean, you find that I don't have to put any effort in to be funny. That is like, I mean, why being miserable? When you can be happy and, I mean, I can be very serious as well. Obviously, when you do business dealings and stuff, you need to be serious. But there's moments in life you don't need always to put on this game face, And I don't know when it happened, but it is not one moment that you say, now I change, how I behave myself. You drift into it and then,
But not everybody thinks like that. And honestly, as someone that's been a Formula One fan since I was a kid, it is really lovely that you came in and were funny and didn't treat the sport too seriously when it didn't need to be treated too seriously, because it is honestly refreshing. And I also think it gives other people sort of permission in their own heads to be themselves a bit more. That you don't have to.
More than anything, more than being funny, is be yourself.
Be yourself,
Be yourself, exactly. And some people are they are serious, and I respect that. Not everybody has to be the same, but as long as you're yourself and you don't put this facade on, that you're somebody else, that is like there's no need for it.
It's supposed to be fun as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, this is it. It's entertainment.
Sport.
It's sport,
Yes,
entertainment. It's
exactly.
enjoyable, and people
Exactly,
pay lots of money to come and see it, and they want to have a nice time, and they want to enjoy it. But I think what I'm getting at is that you, like us, see the absurdity of sport sometimes, and
Absolutely.
that's refreshing.
I think the other people see it, but they don't want to say it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a mad sport. Brilliantly mad, but completely mad.
Exactly,
yeah.
We talked a little bit about this before we started recording, but it must have been quite hard for you as a competitive person in what is a very competitive sport, wanting to win, knowing that you weren't ever going to win, really, because of, the situation that you were in.
Yeah, it's fighting with one arm behind your back, basically. It was always, we're going to make points. Making points is cool when you do it the first time, the second time. But when it comes now, you go in 6th, 7th, 8th season, and you're happy with what you were happy 8 years ago. We made a point. Yeah, but there is more than a point. There is a podium. I want to be on there. There is a win. I want to be there one day. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Miracles happen all the time. I mean, we did a pole position in 22. I mean, that's a miracle, So the miracle happens. But, going onto the podium, it's just not going to happen because you haven't got the tools like the other teams have got. And then you still try to do it because you believe in yourself. And that was the difficult thing. After a while, it's like, how many times can I be happy to bring a point or 2 points home, It's like, and when I see it now from outside, people, we made a point, yeah, well done. I mean, how long can you do that, until you are like, you made a point, well done, fantastic, yeah. we have done that before. So, and not knowing that you cannot do more. It's weird,
We need you to get to do more post-race interviews with the people that got a point and are
exactly.
ecstatic. Go, oh, well done.
Well done, guys.
Really
for
well
God's
done.
sake.
Oh, big fat point. Well done. Do you want a medal?
But sorry to interrupt you, but that is when you do TV after you actually realize, because when you're in there, and I was in there, you make that point and you think the whole world looks at you because you made a point. You know what? Nobody cares. When you're outside, I mean, that nobody cares. It's a little thing, but when you're in it, you think it's the most important thing. What happened this Sunday? We made a point. No, there was a winner, there was a second, there was a third, there was a fourth and a fifth. And you made 1 point or 2 points. And when you're out of it, you actually realize that nobody talks about it because it is not newsworthy. It's not like something. Yeah, they made a point. You can mention it. Yeah, that's pretty good. Made a point. That was it. But when you're in it, you lose actually where you are in the sport. You think you're much better than you are, and you're not.
Can I ask you a question about the pole position, which I believe was Kevin Magnussen, Brazil 22? Am I right? Yeah. Tell me whether this is true or not. I heard a rumour that Kevin Magnussen's race engineer, Mark Slade, had, on the way into the circuit that day, offered to take everyone out for a meal if Kevin got pole position. Is that true?
He didn't invite me because I don't know about it.
I heard that it was offered as a joke. It happened, and the meal never happened. Mark never actually came good on his promise.
As I said, I didn't even know it. I wasn't invited. And if he said the whole team, I should be included.
You really should be included.
I was not
100%.
there. And I don't think it happened. I think you're right with that one. It never happened. So Mark Slade owes everybody still a meal.
And it was Brazilian steak, I think, was the
thinking.
Brazilian
Steakhouse, yeah.
If you've got to, feel free to give a message to Mark Slade into one of the cameras if you'd like to.
Mark, you owe the team a meal, and I was part of the team as well, so you need to invite me as well.
There we go. That's it. Excellent. We'll get that to Mark.
Yeah, that's good.
When you made pole, did you buy the team any presents? Is that what happens?
No.
There must be some bits that you miss of a race day.
There is bits. When the cars go out for qualifying, that's a cool moment. In the race, when the start is done, it's out of your hand. You cannot, as long as the car gets going, it's out of your hand. It's down to the driver. Obviously, you hope you make it to the corner and you have a good start and you make up some positions. But the qualifying is actually the moment. When everybody starts. Everybody is very calm, and then the green light comes on and everybody starts to go. That's actually, for me, the coolest moment of a race weekend. I miss it a little bit, but I'm sitting there thinking, "Oh, I really miss this." No, it's a cool moment, and for me, it's still cool even without having a car because I think that is something nice.
Well, Red Bull have had a lot of staff leave. Your mate Matteo Binotto is running Sauber. It's not like you've not got some links back in if you want to go and get a job back in. Do you fancy going back to it?
I told you I don't want to work anymore.
Fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And who can blame you, Guenther?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I worked hard enough for a few points.
Yeah.
I don't see you as the sort of guy, though, that wants to just retire on a beach. I feel like you've got stuff that you need to be doing.
I'm doing a lot of. I just told you before. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I mean, how much more should I work?
It's like it's a bloody careers guidance over here.
Well,
She's a demanding character, Betty Glover.
Do a little bit more. I'm sorry. I'm running from one studio to the next here since 2 weeks almost. And I'm worn out. I have no voice left. Okay, do a little bit more.
It's not enough.
Come on, not enough.
Betty, what else would you like to see Guenther do?
Well,
she almost sounds like Gene Haas. It's not good enough,
Guenther, it's not good enough.
No.
People have said that before, that Betty's very much like Gene Haas. She's always asking me for money.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Can we get? This is a good moment to get onto your book.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's reminding me because you've just called Betty Gene Haas. So Guenther Steiner, Unfiltered. Okay, your previous book, instant #1 bestseller. Survive to Drive.
I still get confused.
Because Drive to Survive, Survive to Drive. It's clever. Is that there is a laugh on page 1 of this before you even get into the actual book. Dedication. For my family and for all the guys at Haas F1, past and present. Asterisk. You look at the asterisk. You chase it down the page. Except you, Gene.
Is that a joke or is there?
That's amazing.
Or is that a joke or is that a real dig?
I mean, you can take it how you want.
It's
you know?
so good.
It's English humour. You know?
It's
It's English
so
humour.
good.
It is English humour.
Yeah,
It's
exactly. So
definitely
you can
English
take it
humour.
how you want. It's humour, but
Yeah.
What's he said about it? Did he know?
about the book.
Yeah, that little asterisk.
Will you be sending him a signed copy?
I
Sign that bit.
I don't think so. No. Otherwise, he sues me again. You know, he tried once. You know, so
Before we get into the rest of the book, because there's lots of stuff we need to talk to you about in there. But last time we got you on the podcast, which was at Silverstone on the live stage, you told us that there was a team principal WhatsApp chat, right?
yeah.
Did you get kicked out of that, or did you leave? What happened?
I think I got kicked out of it because I didn't get the WhatsApp anymore. But nobody get a message when you get kicked out, correct?
No, I don't think
No.
you do.
No, yeah,
It gets.
get
If you go back into the group, you can see someone has removed.
But it would
you.
just get buried,
Can
wouldn't
I
it?
find out who the someone is
Yeah.
as well?
Where's your phone?
Probably.
Have a look in the group. Come on, just have a look in the group. Don't.
No.
Come on.
No. We cannot do that to the other guys. I mean, they get upset then. You know, then
Who would it have been? Who's in charge of that group?
Is it
Who's
Toto?
who's an
No,
admin?
because you and
James
Toto
Vowles,
No.
really get on,
Yeah,
don't you?
yeah, no.
I bet it was James Vowles.
Vowles.
I'm sure.
He's
It needs to be correct. Yeah.
Structure
Yeah.
his organizer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the best organised.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it needs
yeah.
to be sort of just. It's
Everything
like
needs
very
to be-
mathematical. It's no emotion.
Excel
it's just
sheet.
like,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
well, he's not here. Get rid of him.
Yeah.
I don't dislike him, but he's not here. Get rid of him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
James.
I can see that.
Well done, James.
Interesting.
So-
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Let's start talking about your book then. When did you start writing it?
The 29th of December. No, I'm joking. Because, no, but we actually started to write a book already when it all happened, but then we had to stop that one and start this one, you know.
Oh, that's
yeah.
annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was easy to write this because it was so fresh, you know. Everything was still up there, you know, because in a few years it will not be up there anymore, you know.
Was it quite therapeutic for you, just getting everything out there on the
No.
on the paper? No? All right, good.
No.
Quite often people say it is
Yeah.
therapeutic.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's
a lot of work, isn't it?
Do I look somebody who needs therapy?
No.
No, actually, I
Betty
think,
thinks you need a therapist and a new job.
exactly.
That's what
Yeah,
Betty
yeah.
thinks.
I actually think you're one
When
of
I do more.
Yeah.
Today I do a little bit more than now, yeah.
You seem very, very mentally sound, actually.
Yeah.
Gunther. You know you do. I really think. We mentioned Toto.
Yeah.
He does the forward in the
Yeah.
book. I must confess that I was in two minds when Gunther asked me to write this forward.
He's doing Toto Wolff, everyone. He's doing Toto Wolff.
On the one hand, I was flattered that he would consider me for the job. On the other, I had to ask myself, does the world really need another Gunther book?
It was perfect. I mean, you know,
you.
it was like,
But
Doctor,
that's-
would you write the forward? I don't know.
Lovely, that.
I need to ask Bradley.
Bradley Law, friend of the podcast.
This was definitely written by Bradley. And then email from Gunther, from Toto's account, I'd say.
I don't know anything, you know. I know nothing.
Greg, you've got a favourite chapter of the book, haven't you?
Oh my God. Chapter, there's no numbers, but you know it's going to be a laugh when there's a chapter called The Beans.
The
So there
Bees.
is a lot of serious-ish stuff, and you talk about races in your time through the years.
There's great
through the
F1
decades.
insights, but there's also a lot of fun.
Can you read us a little bit of The Beans? Can we do a bit of
No,
story
I've
time?
done the audiobook already. It was you're a good reader. You're a good reader.
I'm not gonna do it
You
in
should
your-
be reading our audiobooks,
Bedtime
you know.
stories with
Okay, I'm not going to do it in
Greg
your voice,
James.
but hang on a second.
You should do it in my voice, you know.
Right.
Dare you?
Go on, do it.
Come on.
He's
Be brave.
tempted. There was a flick of temptation there.
Come on, man.
I don't know if I can.
You won't find it insulting,
The-
will you?
No.
The airport we used was a private one situated close to the circuit, and we were due to fly into.
English.
We were due to fly into Luton. No, I'm not going to do it.
That was very Toto.
Which is about 60 miles from Banbury. As we sat in the departure area at the airport, I mentioned to Jean in passing that I was hungry. With all that excitement, I forgot to eat at the track, I said to him. In fact, I haven't eaten a thing since breakfast. What are we having on the plane? Oh, I haven't booked any catering, he said nonchalantly. Why the would you spend millions on a plane, but then not put any food and drink in it? It didn't make sense to me.
Valid.
Okay, do you mind if I try and organise something quickly, I said. Why? Because I'm starving. I could tell that Gene wasn't happy, but the alternative was spending 3 hours with a hungry Italian at 32,000 feet, which is a fate that I would not wish on my worst enemy. OK, go ahead, he said reluctantly. Luckily, we still had well over an hour until takeoff, so I made a telephone call to the Haas catering guys who were still at the track. Leave it to me, said John, the manager. I'll bring something over personally. Thank you, John, I said. You've just helped to avert an angry disaster. About 10 minutes after we boarded the plane, I saw John emerge from the departure area carrying a large, deep, silver catering tray. Look at that, I said to Elizabeth, who was my assistant at the time and was travelling with us. There must be enough food in that to feed 20 people. God, I'm hungry. I didn't even ask what was in there, and when John disembarked the plane, having deposited the tray in the galley, I looked at it longingly. As soon as we were airborne, it would be all mine.
That would be all mine. This is like Betty. This is how we'd be focusing on the food.
What the f***? You have to be joking! What's the matter, said Elizabeth, running to the galley, looking at the tray. Oh, I see. Oh dear, that's not very appetising, is it? Instead of taking what was left of a nice lasagna or a casserole, John had acquired a full tray of baked beans. I f***ing hate baked beans! I said, looking miserably at the tray. And even if I didn't, I'm not sure that eating a tray of them in a confined space would be a very good idea.
It is not a good idea.
Did you eat them?
No.
So you didn't even eat them after all that?
I mean, baked beans on a plane.
Just
You know
shoveling beans
What
in.
happens next?
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
generally speaking, Guenther, away from a plane environment, what would you say is wrong with a baked bean?
I'm not saying nothing is wrong in general with the baked bean, but on a plane, something is wrong with baked beans.
You said you hate them. You said
Yeah, it's gassy, isn't it?
Exactly.
You're gassy up there.
Yeah.
No. The after, what comes after once you eat them.
unfortunate.
Have you ever had them on toast with cheese, though?
No.
Well, you need to go and do
Yeah,
that, to be honest.
Have you ever
What
had
cheese?
Well, cheddar.
Cheddar cheese.
Have you
Just
ever had
grate
them
on
with
top.
those little sausages you get? That's good.
What you? No.
Come on, you don't.
No, he doesn't know about that.
They're good. But the little sausages in the tins of baked beans.
It's sad.
You've gone down a level there, to be fair.
Oh, no,
Just leave it with the baked beans and the cheese.
Yeah.
Anyway, when you get this book, turn immediately to the chapter called The Beans. We've given
Yeah.
away the punchline, but it's
We're not
full
going to
of...
read the whole book in the podcast. Yeah.
I am. Welcome to the dramatic reading of your book.
Done an audio book or two in your time, haven't you?
Yeah,
What's
that's
your
true.
favourite bit of the book? Do you have a favourite?
No, I don't have a favorite. I mean, what was the favorite part of the book?
It must have been quite enjoyable to recount some of those tales, though.
Yeah, and when I did them with the ghostwriter, I just sometimes, I tell a story and he said, are you joking? No, because for me, that was my life, I'm not joking. This is what happened, like with the beans. I mean, I never thought that anybody would write that. He said, people wants to know this stuff.
Oh,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah.
Who wants to know about baked beans? I said,
People want to know about beans.
Yeah, they do.
yeah.
People love a bean. Or don't love a bean.
I could see that you are very fond of it.
I don't have them often, but it's a treat. But you're right. You need to
with
know.
little sausages.
Oh yeah, they are great. They are great. You tell I was brought up in a working class family. That was a good dinner for us. That.
I always thought, though, team principle, you just have all
Caviar,
this lovely,
salmon, yeah.
exactly,
Smoked
sitting there,
salmon.
caviar, champagne,
Mackerel.
whatever you wanted, you could get.
A vol au
Yet there
vent.
you are.
That was not my life. Maybe the other ones have.
Yeah, that's the 1 point life.
Exactly, yeah.
Was that the hardest bit about being a team principal? Do you
Not
think?
having
Just
good food.
Not having good food.
No,
What was the hardest bit?
the hard work you have to put in. No, it's not. I mean, being team principal, it's a lot of work, obviously, but it's also it's good work. It's something. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be team principal if you don't want to do it. You couldn't just do it as a job. You need to want to do it, and then obviously it is what you want to do. And when you can do what you actually want to do and what you love to do, you're in a good position in life.
Guenther, Formula One has a lot of big personalities. Another of them has been and gone. Been and gone.
Oh, dear.
See? Is Daniel Ricciardo. What do you think about Daniel's departure from F1, Guenther? Obviously a very popular figure, but you've ran a team. You've had to make difficult decisions with drivers a lot. It's probably the biggest talking point in F1 at the moment, Daniel's departure. What do you make of it all?
Dan is very strange, I think it started with the McLaren, his time at McLaren, where he was not back with the old Danny. And at some stage, I don't know, because he won races. I think he won 8 races in total. I read somewhere. I couldn't remember it. So he can drive a race car. Otherwise, you don't win races. Even in a good car, you need to be good. And at McLaren, I mean, when he was at Renault, he was doing good. But then at McLaren, he just against Lando, he lost. He was lost. And then he left the team early. And then he was taken back in. It's all a little bit weird. But he couldn't. I think it's just a mental. Mentally he couldn't come up with it anymore because he can drive a car. We all know that. And he don't learn to drive a car. And I think with him, what just happened, he couldn't get his confidence back. He was afraid to get beaten from his teammate. You're not doing a good job. And you're into this downward spiral. And, we are talking here over a lap of a minute and 20 or 1.5 minutes. 3/4 tenths to your teammate. It's nothing. Distance-wise, it's nothing. But that's what makes you, when you go out in the car, that's what you need to be. You need to be in that space that you've got the confidence you can do it, that you are, just relaxed is the wrong word, but you are at peace with yourself. This is what I'm going to do. And some are win, some are lose. But if you're taking it, I think if you're cramping up, you cannot do it anymore. Cramping up mentally,
And you're right, he was really good at Renault. And a lot of people say, it all went wrong after he left Red Bull, but he was still really strong at Renault.
He was faster than Hülkenberg at Renault.
And I was about to say, how good Nico Hülkenberg is. He's been fantastic for Haas. Have you ever seen another driver in your time in motorsport we did see it to an extent with Sebastian Vettel at Red Bull, didn't we? Who was beaten by Daniel Ricciardo, and it went wrong fairly suddenly. But can you remember another example of a driver losing it quite so suddenly? Because it does appear with Daniel that as soon as he got to McLaren, just something went missing and never returned.
I think Checo Perez.
Really? You'd make a similar comparison?
I make a similar comparison. Checo was a good driver. He won races, It wasn't long ago that he won races, and now he's half a second behind Max. And then again in Baku, he puts a performance in qualifying. And in the race, obviously, then they had the accident. Crash, they had the crash, so he couldn't take anything home from that. But he could have won that race. But I think it's very similar. It's one of these things. It's just mentally, it's too much pressure because everybody points the finger at you, and then you cannot do it anymore.
I suppose it shows you how the greats like Alonso and Hamilton keep going. Shows you what an achievement that is.
Exactly.
And Nico Hülkenberg as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they just keep on the confidence. I think Nico struggled a little bit at Renault with Daniel Ricciardo. I think he went a little bit backward there. He lost a little bit his confidence.
He lost his seat for a few years. He was out
exactly.
Of sport,
He went out. Was out of the sport because of that. Because he was beaten by Danny.
As a team principal, how do you deal with that when you notice a decline in a driver? Because is there any chance that it can come back, or do you just think, this is terminal now?
You hope he comes back, and you try to give people a good chance, especially if somebody was driving for the team a long time. You try to build him up again, but sometimes it just doesn't work because it's not the team the problem; it's the guy itself the problem, which just mentally cannot get that last 0.2% out of himself. That's what is missing.
It moves so quickly. I mean, top level sport does, but particularly Formula One, it's just the churn of drivers, and you've got these new young 16, 17, 18-year-olds who are just ready to go. And if you come off that treadmill, which Daniel Ricciardo did for a bit, very hard. I guess it's very difficult to jump back on and just be up to speed with everyone, literally up to speed with everyone.
Yeah. And the young people coming in, they have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Think about it. They see it differently. They for them it's just an opportunity, nothing to lose. While somebody who was there a long time, maybe has got something loose, doesn't want to lose it, overthinks things, and then it goes downwards the spiral.
Who do you enjoy watching drive now? You're slightly out of the paddock. Which young drivers do you like watching? Who do you love watching race?
I quite liked Colapinto race. I mean, he surprised me so much. I mean, the guy is like. What is this guy doing? Because Alex Albon, I think he's a good driver. He's known to be a good driver. Then this guy comes along and gets so close to it in no time. I mean, if he continues to grow like he is, he will be very good. And I'm very honest about it. I never noticed him in F2. I mean, I saw the name, like you see the name, but you're not looking, what did Colapinto do today?
He was always around the top third. He was just sort of around 5th, 6th place a lot in races.
He was there and around, but you never went there and see, did Colapinto win, or something like this. Like when you've got these good drivers, like everybody looks at Kimi Antonelli and Oliver Beerman in F2, the guys which are said to be the next best thing, Colapinto comes and it's like, I saw that name, but who is he? I mean, first I thought, well, where is this guy from? I didn't know where he was from. It's like he came out of nowhere, and he impressed me most of all of them.
We'll talk about Ollie in a minute, but imagine the scene, picture the scene. You've taken Betty Glover's advice, you've got yourself a new job, and it is team principal of Red Bull Racing. And immediate job on the in-tray is the 2025 driver lineup. Now, we know Checo's contracted, but, someone said to you, we could make that go away if we needed to. Who are you putting in that seat next to Max? Bear in mind, we've just been talking about Checo and Daniel and the Franco. Who are you filling that seat with next year if you're in charge of Red Bull now?
I mean, now it's too late, but I would have taken Carlos Sainz back.
Would you?
Yeah.
Why?
Because at the time, he was the best driver on the market.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think that's a unsurprising move. I think he'd have been a very, very good teammate for Max Verstappen. But maybe would he have been a little too good for Max
Exactly.
Verstappen?
And I think they didn't have a good relationship, but in the end, you cannot have two mates there. If you've got two mates there.
Is that the hardest seat in Formula One, do you reckon? That being that second one to Max Verstappen?
It's a very difficult one because Max is so dominating. I think, especially at Red Bull, because he grew up there. He made the team grow. He brought the team back to winning. So he has got a very strong standing. Obviously, his father is around, in this Alpha team principle there. So it's like they've got a lot of involvement there. So it is, I think in the moment, it is the most difficult seat in Formula One, that one beside Max.
Whilst we're talking about Max Verstappen, we've got to ask you what your thoughts are on, obviously, the FIA punishing him for swearing in a press conference. You're known for your swearing, although you haven't sworn so far.
I don't do it in podcasts, I don't do it on TV, and not in press conferences.
Also, to be honest, fuck is not a swear word.
No.
It's the perfect crime.
He swore. He read the book,
Yeah, Greg swears a lot.
Greg loves a swear word.
Producer Jimmy has to get the swearing beep out for Greg, I think, more than
all
anyone.
the time,
I
It's
do.
a disgrace.
Do you just come to us wagging his finger at me then? What did you make of the punishments?
Where do we start here? Is it right? No. Is it wrong? No. It's one of these things. I mean, how Max did it was not at a person. He was not swearing or insulting a person. He explained very colorful the state of his car, Should you do it in a press conference? No, but if you do it, I mean, they can bleep it out anyway. So I think when it is in the race or in qualifying or in practice, whatever, and they say something, it's adrenaline, I always say, if you go down a road at 350 kph and somebody cuts you off, are you saying, hello, could you do that a little bit better next time? No, you're not saying that. You're saying, what the...
Yeah.
Are you doing?
But I do have to play devil's advocate. Johnny Herbert, the ex-F1 driver, now an FIA steward, said that he didn't want his 5-year-old grandchildren watching swearing. So, Guenther, how many 5-year-old children do you know who watch the FIA press conference?
And I can tell you another thing. How many 5-year-olds don't know how to swear from the internet?
Yeah,
that's true.
And,
yeah.
and your parents.
Yeah, but even if the parents don't do it, because parents shouldn't be swearing, I get told off by my wife all the time, But I've got a 15-year-old. She knows every swear word in the world, and she didn't learn them from me. I didn't have to teach her them. She learned them somewhere else, So
Probably
maybe in the press
from
conference,
Max.
but maybe, I don't think so. I think, but I'm not saying it's right. I'm not trying to make here the case that we should swear more and everybody should. But it's not like that. This is, and I think swearing. What it was 20 or 30 years ago is different now because the children grow up completely different,
Except for Johnny Herbert's 5-year-old grandchild, that child's still sheltered from it all.
And, I know Johnny. Johnny's a friend, and I know him almost too much. And I say, Johnny, are you sure that you never used a swear word beside your 5-year-old? I mean, and next time I see him, I'm gonna ask him. It's like we discussed this, and I was surprised when they told me that you are a saint. You don't swear around your grandchildren. Johnny, that is not how I know you. But anyway, you could be a completely different man at home. The jury's out there,
Guenther, back to the racetrack, and let's talk about what might happen towards the end of this season. And by the way, why are there no races anymore? This is absolutely mad. We haven't had a race for ages. It feels like we've got another week until
nobody wants to work anymore in F1.
Right, basically, everyone's knackered, aren't they?
Handy gap to sell a book, though.
But really good. So, is Lando catching Max?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh boy!
So this is Will Buxton and Guenther Steiner have both gone. You think Lando is
It will
going
say
to?
the same.
You said
Yeah.
that Lando's going to win
For
the
me, it's a
championship.
60-40. For me, it's 60-40 Lando.
So close.
It's close. But, I mean, he's how many points behind?
Oh, I can't
Around
remember.
50, around
Yeah,
50,
It's
yeah.
been ages since we've watched a bloody race.
We've
God
also got the
knows.
points.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Is there ever a
How many
race
wheels
again?
are on?
So exactly.
I think Austin's really important. I don't know if you agree with a bit. I've heard talk of Red Bull bringing an upgrade to Austin. I wonder if we'll see how close they can be. Because let's be honest, Lando's not guaranteed to win. Mercedes and Ferrari are quick, and if Max can keep plugging seconds, if that car's good enough,
That's what I was going to say. Lando needs the help from Ferrari.
yeah.
On his own, he cannot do it because Max now, I think, went in the mode. I don't care if I don't win the race. I want to win the championship. I'm now strategic. I can get the most points I can get. Not
Second's
to win.
okay.
Second
Yeah.
is okay. Like maybe 4 or 5 races ago, Max was not okay with second when he had the crash with Lando. He wanted to win. So but now he's strategically playing that. And if Ferrari helps, like in Singapore, Ferrari just messed up qualifying. Otherwise, I think they would have taken points away from Max because they were faster than the Red Bull, and that would help Lando. So Ferrari needs to get in shape, and then I think Lando can do it. And Lando cannot make mistakes anymore. Lando or McLaren are not allowed to make mistakes anymore.
It's game time from this
Yeah,
last
it's
block.
now ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting.
It's like a little mini season, isn't it? When it comes back, it's going to feel like this pressurised little.
If it ever comes back.
If it ever comes back, yeah.
Now, we can't talk about this season and who's going to win or lose without sort of doing some predictions for 2025. Are you looking forward to the 2025 season?
Yeah, look
Excited?
forward, but it's a little bit like him backing. First we have to finish this season, and then we look forward to the next one. I mean, it will be. I mean, next year it will be. I think it will be very similar. The ranking order very similar to this year. Not first of all the cars. This regulation is now going on a long time. So they are well developed, and people will start pretty soon to move over to 26. Everybody will, except maybe somebody who wants to win the championship. But 26 onwards is so important that it's such a dramatic change of regulation. So you need to put all into it. And with the budget cap, you cannot run 2 parallel cars, because then you mess up both of them. So I think next season will be very interesting because, again, I think we have got 4 cars, 4 manufacturers which could win races.
Well, none of us really know what's going to happen in 2025, do we? Because, we can't see into the future. But
not yet.
we've got something that can see into the future. Artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And seeing as we've
And
got you here...
I can't even talk anymore. What did artificial intelligence say about 25?
Glad you've asked.
Wow.
Glad you've
Here
asked.
we go. So we want to get your reaction to this, okay?
This is the AI prediction of
So
2025.
we asked ChatGPT to predict the 2025 season. It's come up with some
You're
headlines.
ahead of your time.
We are.
We are.
We're a very forward-thinking podcast.
Trying to push the boundaries of
Thinking about-
sports
yeah.
and society.
And we're trying to get as much out of you as physically possible. Do you know what I mean? We can cut this up, use it next season as well, can't we?
Yeah, great.
Anyway, what are your reactions then to this? So number 1, Haas rising star. A young promising driver in Haas emerges as a serious contender in the season. Thoughts?
For the championship.
That's what ChatGPT reckons.
Serious
A
contender.
serious contender.
I hope you didn't pay for that.
Well,
Thoughts?
No, it's not going to happen.
So obviously talking about Ollie Behrman.
this is
I know
pointing
that,
towards...
Yeah, but he's not going to win the championship. I mean, Ollie will be doing well. He's a good driver. I mean, he showed what he can do this year. But chat what
GPT.
the GPT.
Have you used it, by the way? 'Cause
No,
if
I've
you
not
ever...
used it yet. I know what it is, by the way, but I've not used it. No, because if he gives you that answer that Ollie Behrman wins the championship, I'm not going to use it.
No, it said serious contender.
For what?
But I don't know.
Well,
being
it's
up
open
there.
to interpretation, doesn't it?
Exactly. Serious for a point.
For a point.
Oh, we
For
got
a
it.
serious
Yeah.
contender for
Okay.
a point.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yes, he's that. Yes.
There's a
He's
second
right, yeah.
a second one perhaps is even more controversial. This is controversial. Lewis Hamilton announces that the 2025 season will be his final year in F1, resulting in an emotional farewell moment at several races as fans and fellow drivers pay tribute. He could only do one season at Ferrari, according to the ever-reliable ChatGPT.
No, I don't think that will happen. I mean, I'm pretty sure he will do at least 26 with the new regulation.
26 seasons, wow. So he'd be going to...
2026 season.
Right, that makes
sorry.
more sense. Yeah, that would be a long stint.
I'm
wouldn't
not ChatGPT. Yeah. So,
Hamilton driving until he's 60. Him and Fernando still
exactly,
there.
still there, hanging on there,
Could happen.
Could happen.
Could happen.
Is something wrong being 60?
Nothing wrong with being 60. No, not at
Better
all.
not.
Are you 60?
Next year.
Are you? Oh, happy birthday.
See, that was
Next
genuine.
year, not now.
No.
Yeah, but that was a genuine reaction.
Yeah,
because
you
you
look
know
great on it.
when you do the thing where you're like, no way, you're nuts.
Whoa, you
but
look
you
great,
really aren't. You can't be 59.
Yeah, I'm 59.
Really?
In April, I'm 60.
What's
I
your-
cannot believe it.
What's your skincare secret? Why are you looking at me like that? What do you put on your face?
Nothing.
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 Do you
No.
don't moisturise at all?
No.
No
I feel your face
moisturiser.
feels quite tight if you don't moisturise.
No, I've got a lot of wrinkles, so,
Yeah, no moisturiser at all.
That's
Not even
unbelievable.
You
SPF.
can see that. No, no, no.
No SPF either.
Yeah, stop looking at me like this. I'm getting scared here, I'm
great.
freaking out,
You look great considering you
Really
don't
great.
use anything.
No.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, okay.
I'm unemployed. I have no money to buy anything.
That's true. That's true.
Forgot that.
Please buy Gunther's new book.
At
Because
least
he
one.
needs some more SPF.
I tell you what,
He needs
moisturising
some
brands, if any
moisturiser.
of you are listening, there's an open goal here.
No, really
tell you.
is.
There's a very, very dry face to be moisturised.
Bulldog Moisturiser, if you're listening, there's an opportunity here, lads.
Clarence Men. Anyway,
Okay, so we don't think that's going to happen. How about this one? Carlos Sainz secures his race victory of the season with a new team after a masterful performance at the Spanish Grand Prix. How about that?
Carlos winning for Williams
In Spain.
in
Spain.
Spain.
I mean, if everyone else crashed, I guess.
Rain.
Something bad must happen, huh?
Yeah.
Or it rained or something like
Rainy.
this. Yeah, there's a chance to happen there. Make
Yeah.
it happen, yeah.
So that
Nothing-
seems the most likely so far.
Well, out of,
Yeah,
these,
yeah.
out of these mad ones.
Because we've had the Gasly wins, the Ocon wins. You said K-Max pole, bit of rain or something, red flag.
Yeah, exactly. It could happen, yeah.
That one could happen.
Right. And what, yeah?
number 4. The championship battle goes down to the wire at the final race in Abu Dhabi, where Verstappen, Hamilton, and Norris are all in contention. Can you imagine?
Stranger things have
That,
happened
that
there.
works, doesn't it? That tracks. That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
That
The
would
chances
be
are low, but
epic.
they're there,
The chances are low.
Yeah. The chances are low,
Last
but
season of
they're-
a rule set, everybody's fairly close. Hamilton for Ferrari, Max for Red Bull, Norris for McLaren. See, it's the other drivers there. I think Oscar would be involved in that as well.
Oh, yeah, lovely.
And a Mercedes.
A Mercedes,
yes.
Yeah. It must be at least 5.
That'd be cool.
Kimi
though.
Antonelli and George Russell. That'll be interesting between those two next year, won't it?
Yeah, that will be an interesting one, And normally, George should be ahead, but if Kimi does like like Colapinto did with Alex Albon, could
Who
happen the
knows?
same thing that he gets close to it. He seems to know what to do with the car.
Such a good season, though, isn't it, at the moment? Did you expect it to be this good?
No.
Because we didn't.
No, I think if somebody tells you that they expected it, they're you. So, yeah.
I agree. Whilst you're here, would you mind signing our helmet?
Oh, yeah. Grab the helmet. It's up there.
So, Gunther, everybody who comes into the studio, we get to sign the helmet, which you complimented our studio earlier, which was very nice of you.
There's no, but it is signed. I
Oh,
thought
it
that
is
was the
signed,
first
it is
one.
signed.
Yeah.
It's signed.
Yeah.
It's signed.
The last person to sign it was Will Buxton. He was in
Buxton,
your seat not too long ago. So, and it's always interesting where people choose to sign. Where are you going to go
I think
for?
it says a lot about them.
Middle. Right above the visor.
Straight in. There was no hesitation from Gunther here. It was straight in, right in the middle.
Either you do it right or you don't do it.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Go hard or go
That's the
home.
title of your next book.
Yeah.
And then,
That takes some time.
breakfast.
Yeah,
No
yeah, let's sell this one.
Gunther, we really, really appreciate you coming on. Honestly, it's your second appearance on The Fast and the Curious, and we don't just love you, but the Formula One world loves you. That must be a really nice thing that you get so sort of positively recognised and the warm reaction to you, even though you are not, a team principal anymore. Formula One has far from forgotten you. It seems still like you're a beating heart of the sport. It must be a nice thing.
Yeah, it isn't a bad thing, not to be forgotten. No, I appreciate you guys having me.
Oh,
Thank you
we've
very much.
loved having you.
Just on that,
What is
Harry
ChatGPT saying to that?
Guenther
it's
Steiner
time
is a
up.
legend that needs to eat baked beans on toast with cheese.
For the rest of his life.
Just on that, Harry, one of our listeners, slid into our DMs and he said, this isn't a question for Guenther, but more of a thank you. Your first book, Surviving to Drive, got me through a difficult time when I was in hospital recently. It really made me smile, laugh, and made me feel normal again. So thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you live soon. Because you're doing live shows, aren't you?
I'm doing live shows, yeah. I'm doing one tomorrow, thinking. Liverpool tomorrow.
What do you mean you think? How do you not know where you're
I
going?
forget everything. I'm running from one place to the next. So I'm in Liverpool tomorrow because I go up to Liverpool tomorrow. So the show must be in Liverpool.
It sounds like you do a lot of travel, and you mentioned earlier you're going to Orlando and that sort of thing. How do you manage to sort of keep up with like television and stuff when you're away, and like shows you like to watch at home, or even just keep your sort of banking data safe when you're on like public Wi-Fi and that sort of thing? Do you have a way of dealing with that?
I mean, banking data is safe, and I don't watch. I don't watch a lot of TV, because I haven't got time. I watched last night in the hotel. I switched it on to see what is going on in Florida with the hurricane. But otherwise, I don't watch a lot of TV.
Well, that's not ideal for what I'm about to say, but were you to see when you're in Liverpool, say you were to watch something on the telly and you think, I want to keep up with that when I go back to Orlando, you could change your virtual location using something called NordVPN.
He's trying to do an advert.
Have you heard of NordVPN, Guenther?
No.
Honestly, it's an absolute must for any F1 fan or author. Heading
Guenther's
to
like getting out of it now.
Anybody.
For the rest of the season.
Yeah.
We use it because you can change your virtual location on your computer so it thinks you're at home wherever you are in the world, and you can keep up to date with TV or radio when you're away. And it's super safe because of NordVPN's threat protection feature. So it protects you from viruses, malicious malware, phishing sites, and it keeps your data private while you're using public Wi-Fi. Did you know any of this?
No. I don't need anything else then.
NordVPN.
NordVPN.
Yeah.
NordVPN.
And
that's it.
To get the best discount off your NordVPN,
You give it to me for free.
I can get you a special
You can
code
get me a
actually.
deal, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go to nordvpn.com/TFATC, and that link will give you 4 extra months on the 2-year plan. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee either, Guenther. And the link is in the description of this episode, but I will email you a special link.
That's the best thing I hear today, NordVPN.
They'll be really pleased with that. They'll love that you've said NordVPN, Guenther. Honestly, that'd be
That is
fantastic.
brilliant.
And they might sponsor the next book. You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know what is coming
You never
next.
know.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Well,
Guenther, thanks so much for being on.
yeah, have you enjoyed it?
Yeah. Otherwise I wouldn't do it.
Oh,
Yeah, of
good.
course.
That's nice. You're welcome back anytime. And if you ever need the sofas, you're welcome to them as well.
Yeah, at showers here, everything. Thank you so much. We're going to be back next week with an Austin triple header, because we've got one hell of a lineup coming up. We are talking to Franco Colapinto, Oscar Piastri, and Jenson Button. All of those chats are going to be on your feed before the Grand Prix in Austin.
That's a lineup and a half, isn't it?
That's a brilliant lineup.
Colapinto, Button, Piastri.
I know.
Unbelievable. And Mr. Steiner as well.
Yeah, add someone else. You've got a great five-a-side team.
Who is not there? I mean,
I
that's
don't know.
quicker to say.
Yeah, it's good.
Who's not there?
You got them all. Who is not there? It's quicker to say that one.
And then I'm going to check in with you after the race from Austin. When we do the debrief,
Yeah.
I'll be there. Will I be wearing either a cowboy hat or cowboy boots? Stay tuned to find out.
Hope so.
Well,
Hope so.
you'll let us down if you're not. And all of those are going to be in your feed. So subscribe to the Fast and the Curious. And also let us know if you've got any questions at Fast Curious Pod. But from all of us here in our studio, it's goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Guenther.
Thank you, guys.